Welcome back. You tuned into Inspired Afternoons with me, your host, Miriam Mia. And now it's time for our hashtag kindness and compassion segment. And today I'm so pleased. I've been wanting to speak about this amazing, empowering, uplifting, upskilling initiative. That is a project of the Feed Foundation with the support, enjoying the support of the South African Muslim and Cultural Trust. So this is the Bees School of Baking. So this initiative was an initiative that it was a labor of love in a project that was, a visionary project that Feed, the organization Feed had earmarked. So it's an uplifting and upskilling project whereby people, well, individuals from underprivileged or under-resourced backgrounds are then given a skill with baking so that they can become home bakers or then open up, become entrepreneurs and start supporting their families and transition from semi-skill or no skill individuals to individuals that have a skill which then they can transfer in terms of becoming an entrepreneur, feeding their families, upskilling themselves, but then also trainer in terms of imparting that skill to others so people can move from out of their current circumstances. And I found one I was always passionate when it comes to empowerment projects. So I'd like to welcome, I am so pleased today she made time from her busy schedule in this, Dr. Zaheeda Adam, who is the chair and one of the founding members of Feed, and she's also the chair of the Bees Baking School, as well as I have Sister Khalida Khan, who is the marketing social media manager for Bees Baking School. Assalamu alaikum, Zaida, and welcome to Inspired Afternoons.
Wa alaikum salam. Thanks, Miriam, for having us on your show.
And assalamu alaikum to Khalida as well.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you for having us.
Zaida, I was just going to say, I said, let me introduce you first, but shukran for making the time because I'm in admiration, great admiration in awe of yourself because you wear so many hats, but you do this, you execute this flawlessly with great professionalism and being a founding member of the organization Feed and then putting all your energy into ensuring that the vision of the Bees Baking School becomes a reality, not only a reality, but it's up and running. Many individuals have been upskilled in the process, as well as you run a busy practice, a wife and a mom to 4 very energetic females, as well as you're an avid cycler as well. So alhamdulillah, you are the epitome of maximizing your time and ensuring that you have a well-balanced life. So alhamdulillah, we in admiration from you and yourself. You are a mentor to many females out there.
Alhamdulillah. Miriam, the reception is not
Are you
good here. So I'm not sure if there was a question. I didn't.
No, it was just a comment, but did you hear this? Okay, let's do this. Let me speak to Khalida. Can you hear me? Are you okay?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So Zaida, let's do this. Let me see if Ziad can get you can get you on a better connection while I speak to Khalida. Let's see if we can raise you on a better connection. So Khalida, tell us about this Bees School of Baking and the initiative. When did it start?
Can I just start off by saying that even as somebody who works with Feed and Bees, I am in the admiration of Zaida and all the hats that she wears and how she manages to do everything. So I completely agree with you 100%. And she actually motivates the rest of us to work harder and do more because she is so passionate about it that we just kind of all become incentivized by that. So now to come back to your question. Just ask me again, sorry.
I said, so how did it all start in terms of this Bees Baking initiative? And then tell us a little bit more about the actual school, the baking school.
Okay, so I'm the wrong person to speak to about that. Zaida is always passionate about empowerment. She started Threads of Hope. And then I think when Alfie Dar approached Zaida about starting a baking school, it was right up Zaida's alley because, as I said, empowerment is a huge part of feed, which so it's not just feeding; it's education and empowerment is a very, very, very big part of feed. Zaida also, we also started a garden at Coronation, which is now sustaining that center. So it started with Alfida approaching Zaida. Feed had just bought a house in Forwardsburg. They came to look at it, and it happened very, very quickly last year when I think maybe around about April, Zaida and Fatima Bucks from Feed went to PE to look at the baking school that Alfida had, and and then they decided that that was something that we could definitely do at their house. And from there, I think with the South African Muslim Charitable Trust, um, we got the funding, and basically they renovated the house. It all happened very, very quickly. We worked with some amazing partners like Caring Women's Forum that were very involved in getting it started. Everybody was so supportive because this was like a different initiative. It wasn't just feeding. Like you said, it was empowerment, it was education, it was making a difference in people's lives. It was not just giving people fish, but teaching them to fish. So we had a lot of support from a lot of different organizations, and that's how it basically started.
Yeah, inspirational indeed. So tell us about the cause itself. So I know speaking to Zaida previously, you earmark individuals from under-resourced or disadvantaged backgrounds. Many of them did not have the luxury of completing their school education up to matric, and that in you earmark individuals who have a passion for baking, who are interested in going into this field here, and and then you screen the candidates and you take them up. So how long is the duration of the course, and once they've completed the course, are they then competent to maybe then work in an industry of like a pastry industry, a bakery industry, or even then become a home baker and start a home industry as such?
Yes, so basically it's a 4-week course. And the course has been formulated again by Alfida, and they pioneered in Port Elizabeth. So that the course teaches them not basic baking skills. Like you said, these individuals are earmarked because they already have a passion for baking and an understanding of baking and have basic baking skills. They go through quite a rigid process where they have to fill in an application form, and their skills, and they are interviewed to check that they have got the capability and the willingness and eagerness to learn and develop their skill. So once they've done that, they start the 4-week course, and it's if you look at our Instagram, I think you have a better idea of everything that's involved. Chef Fatima is the lady and the head teacher and tutor at the school, and it's amazing what she manages to do in even just 1 week, even one day. So they learn, besides learning baking skills like from a carrot cake to pastry to short crust pastry to donuts. I mean, donuts are not easy. They also learn icing techniques. So they learn not just one icing technique, they learn different icing technique from glazing donuts to piping cakes to making birthday cakes, biscuits. So the skills are wide and varied, and they definitely, some of the people that have graduated have gone into employment at bakeries. And so we're very keen for them to be able to do that. But most importantly is that a lot of them have started home industries. And Zaida was just telling me this morning that quite a few of them are earning between 3,000 and 5,000 rand a week from their home baking skills, from their selling to people in their community, birthday cakes, making scones, all the things that they were taught at the school by Chef Fatima. They are able to translate that into an income, which is making a difference for them and their families, and they're able to put food on the table. And it's life changing for a lot of these women.
Absolutely. I'm told we've got Zaida joining us on audio. Sister Zaida, Dr. Zaida, can you hear me? Dr. Zaida? Dr. Zaida, can you hear me? Let me just check with Ziad. I was so looking forward to speaking to Dr. Zaheeda Adam. Yeah, do we have Dr. Zaheeda on? Okay, so Khalida, you say the Bees Baking School is situated in Fordsburg as well, and so people obviously commute and that. So the course is a 4-week course. For me, I'm just looking at a cost. If somebody had to join in a 4-week course, you're looking at a couple of thousands in terms of doing such an intense course like this. So this is really, really a fantastic, empowering opportunity for somebody to gain. And for me, it's a lifelong skill that is imparted on somebody who goes through this whole course at Bees Baking School.
Yes, I also like what you said earlier. You spoke about what's something that Zaida said to you, which was train the trainer. These women are able to go back to their communities besides being able to bake for their own communities and sell things and contribute to fundraising efforts in their communities. They are also able to train other women to do that. They're also able to teach those skills to disadvantaged girls in their communities, to mothers who want to be able to do different things, or abused women, or young girls who they don't want to be out on the street and just like wandering around, but they can teach these and give them something to do and teach these skills to other people in their communities, not just girls but boys as well, because there are lots of very great pastry chefs who are men as well, so they're able to impart that skill to other people in their communities, and that's a very, very important part of it. And so part of what I try to do on social media is also tell the stories of these women and where they come from, what difference it makes in their life. And when you're talking about cost, it costs about 6,500 rand, because of us electricity, ovens, all of that. It costs about 6,500 rand to teach one woman for the 4-week baking course, to teach one person for the 4-week baking course. That's the cost that of basically the course.
Yeah,
I mean, they do it for free, obviously.
And this is, and you know what, the whole, because to set up in the infrastructure for such like a training school or training center like this, there's a huge capital cost involved in this. And that's also what I find so remarkable from all the committed sisters at Feed is everybody worked around the clock to actually make this happen, because it's a huge capital investment, and this was done through fundraising, to collaborations in various partnerships with various stakeholders to get this. And also the initiative is being sustained solely through, like you say, various partnerships, women's organizations. As you've said, I've got the support of the South African Muslim Cultural Trust as well, and many partner organization in collaboration to keep this model going and funding. So that's remarkable in terms of, I'm sure you as being a social media and marketing manager as well. So this year is just purely out of collaboration as well as partnerships in terms of raising funds.
So South African Charitable Muslim Trust, they were heavily involved in funding in terms of the capital outlay and setting up the baking school. In terms of the running costs, a lot of it is borne by Feed, and then, like I said, in the past, Caring Women's Forum as well has helped us and sent us candidates which they have funded. So they have also helped us in terms of keeping it going. But COVID, it's been very difficult. The school was closed for a good few months, and we've just recently started again. And so in terms of funding, that is an issue, and we do need to be very, very constructive and try to raise funds. And a big part of our social media is driven towards that. It's difficult because people tend to focus on the hunger aspect and feeding, and so a lot of people tend to focus on that. But this is actually has got long-term benefits in terms of we can't
empowerment. Absolutely, yes. I'm Khalida. Sorry to interject here. I'm told, inshallah, we've got Zaida on a clearer line now. See, I'm also fumbling here. Zaida, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. And
Greeting.
welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you.
We were waiting for you in terms of because I know you, when Al Fida came to Gauteng and approached a few sisters with an aim of starting a bees baking school, you were at the forefront, and you were the one who was visionary in a sense that you seen value in this type of empowerment project, as well as I know the buy-in from afterwards a trainer and that. So I know this was one project that was actually your baby in terms of you nurtured it and you seen it from conception to execution. So tell us a little bit about the journey.
So initially, it was actually an initiative brought to the table by Aisha, and she had contacted a number of women, in basically indicating that Al-Fida, the concept out of PE, is a baking empowerment initiative, and if organizations would be interested. At the same time, coincidentally, we had just finished off Ramadan, and during Ramadan, we actually do have, we do a lot of baking and raise funds through baking. But, for years, we've been trying to put together empowerment initiatives. So we've done so at our gardening skills initiative at the Coronation School, where, the youth from that school actually feeds a third of it helps feed the community. We've got Threads of Hope initiative, which is a sewing initiative. And this year that came in very handy because we used it to manufacture masks for wider distribution together with the IMA, and that was done at Baragwanas. And there are numbered, like the aprons, for instance, that are manufactured for bees are also done by the Threads of Hope initiative. But Bees Baking School, so Bees, the acronym also represents our desire to bake, educate, empower, and create sustainable opportunities for women. And I think Khalida has probably given me the outline. In terms of, Feed's role, it's largely something that has been spearheaded by Al-Fida, a concept very well put together by Al-Fida. And given the fact that myself and Fatima Baks had traveled to PE, to have a look at the concept and functioning thereof, and we were quite taken aback by how well it's run by Adam and his chefs Claire and Sarah, and we felt that it's something we could replicate here in Johannesburg because Feed had acquired a premises, and they were, very good in terms of recruiting expertise to ensure that it would run in the same way. So, not having listened to how much detail Khalid has given you, Bees School of Baking is a collaboration between Feed and Al-Fida, and there were a number of women involved initially, but over the year and troubleshooting, because it's also one of the first branches that Al-Fida started away from PE. It seems to run like a well-oiled machine if the chef and the assistant chef, keep the boat afloat. And then we provide support. So that is essentially what Feed does. We provide support and, the financing of the initiative together with some organizations that assist us in sponsoring candidates. And there's a highly qualified chef and an assistant chef who teach. The prototype before was 8 ladies per month, but that's changed after COVID because of the number of homes that are affected and the number of people that actually need to earn a living. So we've incorporated the 5-day course, which we did for 3 weeks. So using manual equipment so that women could, after 5 days, already become home bakers and start generating an income. Those who had an aptitude and a flair for baking are now channeled into the 4-week course. And when they finish the 4-week course, they then, graduate highly qualified and, I'm sure they'd easily start businesses that will thrive. But over and above that, they can be scooped up by bakeries, hotels, and people in the hospitality industry. So that's
yes. Thank you. You've beautifully complimented whatever Khalida had given us in the initial background of it. And Zaida, I love what you said in terms of you've now introduced a 5-day baking course using manual implements, because that will just give somebody an idea, especially who hasn't baked before, nervous baking. And then also I think that helps you in terms of your screening process. It also helps the individual to say, you know what, I'd like to pursue this as a full-time career, something I can see that I can be an entrepreneur or work in the field of a confectionery or baking space. So this actually gives somebody an opportunity to assess themselves, and likewise for baking school to assess their potential in terms of going for an intense course. So I think this is actually a wonderful aid on in terms of this 5-day course as well. And how has this course been received?
So the course has been very well received and very heartwarming, because what happens is that for those 5 days, the research has been done within the demographics that a lot of the bakers come from, and the items that they taught are items that will largely sell within the communities that they stem from. So each day they get to take home whatever they've baked, and they've got to sell it, and the money generated from that they bring back. And on day 5, when they graduate from the manual baking course, they now have capital to buy the items or the commodities that they need to start their home bakery. And
mashallah, that is so comprehensive. Yeah, I love this. This is so
those that
comprehensive.
Have 5-day course and show, a bit more, like I said, a flair and an aptitude for baking, those ladies are then selected for the 4-week course. But what we found is that, with the first 3 courses that we've run, not all of them have a flair for baking and are not necessarily innovative in this field. So for us, it's very important that, you're going to make a life and you're going to grow through this experience. And that is why, Al-Fida, it was actually Adam and Claire from Al-Fida, who have been in this industry for a while, that thought that this is the most appropriate way of running it. So it's, partly a screening process, but to those who need to actually earn a living, it's also affording them an opportunity.
Absolutely. So tell me, for this, Khalida mentioned 6,500 rand for the 4-week course. It's what it costs to actually sponsor a learner or student for the whole course. In the 5-day course, what is a cost? So maybe if I have somebody that I know of somebody that I'd like to just give a start to empower, or even allow them an opportunity to see that they will have a flair and, like you say, aptitude to pursue further baking, what would a 5-day costing of the 5-day course cost?
The 5-day course, the costing thereof is between 1,500 to 1,750, and so 8 of those ladies from the 3-week course is going to be channeled into the 4-week course that will follow. So essentially, the 4-week course then is 6,500 plus the 1,750. For 8 of the women, and then the other 14 women, that get to do the 5-day course, the spend is only 1,750. But, with COVID, and I think if you look at Feed's Instagram page, it will give you an indication that, alhamdulillah, we feel, as much as we're in a very fortunate position in that we haven't stopped our outreach from, the time that South Africa went into stage 4 lockdown. We've been distributing on a weekly basis throughout, except for last week where we ran out of millennial. But through collaborations with other organizations like Meals SA, the COVID-19 relief team during stage 5 lockdown, and a number of other organizations, we've ensured that we distribute throughout. So this has taken a lot of our funding away, because a lot of it is, Lila, Sadaqah, and it's taken a lot of our funding away from our empowerment initiatives. So, we are at a juncture where we certainly need to be even more innovative in our ability to fundraise, or look to corporates to assist us to fundraise, so that all our field initiatives can be more sustainable. So inshallah, through your show and, hopefully through listeners that are listening to this and would like to come and have a look at how, this runs, we certainly would hope that, this is also an opportunity for us to showcase what we do at Bees, but more so to gain or garner support from the community at large to ensure that, inshallah, all of these are sustainable initiatives. And more so because we've identified 2 more sites that we intend to open up baking schools at. I'm not sure if Khalida indicated to you that we have 7 centers that we feed at on a regular basis, where we provide food to these centers for, they're residence-based institutions, and they also have schools attached to them. One is what you call Al Iman Foundation, that's got about 13 or 14 centers. and they're keen on doing a baking school, and inshallah we'd like to support that initiative by hopefully seeing a Bees Al-Fida collaboration happening there. And SMCC is also very happy for us to look at this opportunity. And the other one is in Bush Koppies, the Bethel Elm. In fact, we've put a few of their students through the program specifically for the trainer scenario. They've identified, a kitchen area that they'd like to convert into a bakery. Currently, we give them flour for them to bake for. They've got bread machines, so they bake for their maksat, and in the month of Ramadan for the wider community in Al Zawada Park. So inshallah, we'd like, these are two organizations who on many other opportunities have shown a lot of, initiative in doing things. So we certainly like to see, baking schools also become a reality at this time.
Inshallah, they do. In fact, I met the one student that you had trained from Bethel. This year Ramadan, when I visited, I actually met her, and she had this newfound confidence in that her skills in baking, and for me this is also very telling, and one of the positive good story spins off is you see the confidence of somebody who has come through the 4-week course. It just helps them in terms of their emotional well-being and their self-worth, because now they feel that, they've gained a skill which really helps them in their confidence. Because when I met her last year, prior to this, in this year, and now that she spoke about having gone and trained and learned the scores, there was so much passion in her, and just an extra step about her. So I think that's another positive spin off in terms of this. Besides empowering somebody, you actually uplifting somebody emotionally. You turning them into confident young ladies that can go out into the world and make a difference and make the mark. So I commend you on that aspect as well. And also anybody out there, especially maybe if the 6,500 is a lot for you, but even just consider 1,700 investment in a person. You contributing to a family, as you say. They can then take those skills and go home and make basic things and start selling. So really, it's a really good investment. If anybody out there would like to sponsor a student for the 5-day course with then a view to a longer term relationship with the Bees Baking School, please really consider this. It's a really, really empowering investment, and your funds are definitely going to grow many, many years, or many, many donuts are going to be fed and people are going to be benefit from them. So please do support the Bees Baking Initiative. And I'm here. And let's overwhelm Sister Khalida in terms of the response. Let her work. Please do contact Sister Khalida. Get her to say, I'm interested in sponsoring this or that, or contact her, visit. I know Zaheeda always has this open door policy. Zaheeda, I still need to visit. I know you always tell me, please make some time and come and visit, but inshallah, I'm writing down in my to-do list that I need to come and visit the center as well and see in my own personal capacity where I can assist. But anybody out there, please, Feed and Bees Baking School always has this policy where they say, please come out and visit the center and see how you can make a small, it's a small contribution that makes a huge, phenomenal difference in the life, not only of an individual, but in the life of the community in which they live and they serve. Jazakallah, Sister Zaheeda, for your time, as well as Sister. Go ahead.
More thing, Mariam. We'd like you, I think, to get the acid test is to interview our students. So perhaps your next show, if you'd like to know exactly how Bees operates, is to call one of the chefs in and one or two of the students, and that will give you a good indication. You mentioned the student from Bethel Elm, and I think in life, the purpose in life is to have a purpose. And maybe for a lot of people who have been attempting to find jobs and have been unemployed for a long while and are demoralized and depressed, this is an opportunity to embrace change. And I think that's what we see, when the girls start the baking school and how they evolve eventually till graduation. And we'd like your audience or your listeners to perhaps share this, because I think, you'll be able to gauge more from them than us talking about the school. So use them as your success, and hopefully this will also be an opportunity for Bees and the initiative and the other empowerment initiatives that not only Feed and Bees are doing, that a lot of other organizations are attempting, to gain support, because the situation out there with COVID has become quite desperate. families who previously were employed and, living comfortably are living way below the grade line. So you can imagine what the impoverished families are going through at the moment. So inshallah, with your
Absolutely.
help, we hope that we can fulfill all the tiers of society so that we can, give some relief to the unrelenting problems that, a lot of people within our communities and society at large face, inshallah.
Sister Zaida, it's been an absolute pleasure for getting you on the show, for joining us, for actually giving us your pearls of wisdom as always, and also letting us see the bigger picture in society and how even our small input, our small contribution makes a huge difference, and it has a ripple effect in terms of what we give back. Sister Khalida, shukran for all your efforts in terms of marketing, making everybody aware of this, but I'm definitely in programs to come get my producer to contact you. I definitely like to showcase the learners who have successfully come through the program and who are now entrepreneurs and bakers in their own right. Jazakallah for joining us.
So, can I just say, can people follow us on bees underscore School of Baking, and they'll have a great idea of what's happening at the school and just get better information.
Jazakallah, definitely will do.
Also,
Please
I
do follow them.
_SA. If we can follow us on both, so you can see the other initiatives that FEED are also involved in, and the outreach initiatives during COVID, and on a day-to-day basis, inshallah. FEED_SA as well.
Absolutely. Jazakallah, both of you, for your time. May you all always be under the mercy and the protection of the Almighty, and may the Almighty continue using you to serve Deen and humanity at large. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.
And Jazakallah.
And we're going to go for a short break. When we get back, we're going to be moving on to our educational insight segment.